Yo, you got the Original Lone Wolf coming at y'all, man, with a video. Y'all know how my language can be sometimes, so I want you guys to know that this is one of those videos where if you're watching this or listening to this right now, you have children around you, get them out of there. All right? Because I'm not going to bite my tongue. I'm not going to hold back. I'm not going to say excuse my French and all that other shit. All right? I'm not going to do it. So if you got children around, now's the time to kick the children out. And you watch this, and then you go back to your children, and you interpret this to your children in the way that you see fit as a parent. All right? Now, let's get into it. We already know about the situation that happened in Maui, right? Anybody who follow my motherfucking channel already know this shit was a psyop, right? Anybody who fuck with me know, right? Anybody who rock with me and been rocking with me from day one, I've always told y'all, just because it was a psychological operation, it don't mean nobody wasn't affected by it. I've been telling y'all that shit for years. Years. 9/11 was a psyop. It was a fucking psychological operation where a lot of people lost their life. Okay? And it's no different with this fucking Hawaii shit. It's the same thing. A lot of people lost their life. As if it's not bad enough that you disintegrated these fucking people. Okay? As if that's not bad enough, you got this guy on screen who's supposed to be the fucking safety guy. You know, he's supposed to be like that guy that work in the warehouse at your job and shit. Make sure you don't get hit by forklifts and combis and fucking cherry pickers and reach trucks and shit. That's who this fucking guy is, but he's supposed to be that way for the neighborhood and the city and shit. So what you got on screen is a fucking asshole that's admitting that he didn't sound a fucking alarm. He admitting it. Now, before we get into all of that, I just want to break down the part about the fact of how people who are historians, because there are people who are into history and shit that's a lot more knowledgeable about a lot of this shit than I am. Jim Red Wolf being one of them. Motherfucker like Darkman, somebody like Shatahaya, you know what I'm saying? They know a lot more about history and things that happen historically, right? And so from what I've gathered from my own little bit of intelligence and from me rocking with these three brothers that I just named, what I have learned is that this is no secret. This is not something new. They do this shit all the fucking time. And from these historians that I chop it up with, they all can go back 100 years, 150 years, where they did some more fucked up shit, right? Whereas we know Katrina was the same thing. Here it is, you got these motherfuckers who come in the night and they literally just disintegrate people. All right? They drop napalm or some people say it was an energy-based weapon like a laser, right? Which you can create. Here's the thing of how you know they vaporize these people. You can take a piece of snow and melt it down to where it's in a clear crystal-like shape, and you can angle that off of the sunlight and start a fire. You can also do it using a piece of glass, right? Now, this is just some basic in the survival woods type shit. Like, that's just some basic shit. You know what I'm saying? So if you could do that just with some hands-on and without having batteries and generators and all that, then you know damn well with the technology that they got shit that's far more superior than that. And again, like how they always do, they come in the night. Ain't that what happened with Katrina? Didn't them fucking people wake up at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the fucking morning to water rushing in already about to cover the first level of the house and making his way on up to the second level of the fucking house at 2 o'clock in the goddamn morning? Ain't that what happened to them people? Oh, you motherfuckers ain't shit. You motherfuckers make me sick. Because also, again, this shows you that these people are not that fucking powerful. It also shows you that they cowards. That you got to do this shit to these people in the middle of the night, and you got this fucking asshole on screen talking about, yeah, we didn't sound the alarm. Yeah, I could have did it, but, you know, I didn't. Listen to this pussy shit.
Responding to the outrage over the response to the wildfires, and the death toll has risen to 111. Emergency managers are defending their decision not to activate warning sirens, suggesting that those sirens might have confused residents who are used to hearing tsunami alerts instead. Jonathan Vigliotti challenged that assertion at a news conference yesterday amid new questions about one key official in particular, whether that official is qualified for the job at all.
So you mean to tell me that you come out publicly You come out publicly and tell a motherfucker, yeah, man, we just didn't turn it on. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you got motherfuckers going to work. Motherfuckers ain't talking about this. Ain't nobody saying nothing. You still got stupid ass motherfuckers on the job dry snitching. Here it is. They getting treated the same way as the motherfuckers they dry snitching on. But yeah, for some strange reason, they dry snitching. Despite the fact that they murdered these fucking people in Hawaii. They killed them. Now, we know that the people they smoked and snuffed out and shit, they are not the original people of that land. We know that, you know what I'm saying, we are the original people of that land. We know that, right? But dig, this go to show you, and we was talking about this in the group text chat that we do earlier. We were talking about it earlier where here it is, the fucking people that they just did that to, those are the motherfuckers they brought in to replace our people. And then look at it decades or generations later, look at what they did to them. Look, listen, I'm going to say that one more time. The fucking people that got snuffed out on that island of Maui, they're not the original people of that land. The people that they interviewing on the news and this, that, and the other or whatever, those are not the original people of that land. They're not. We're the original people of that land. You know, the so-called black man, right? So here it is, the very same group or entity or elite group of people that was responsible for replacing us with them decades and generations later. Those same group of people are responsible for snuffing these fucking people out. Can you say, wow? Wow. How in the fuck are these people still allowed to get away with the shit that they get away with?
Then joins us now once again from the ground in Hawaii. Jonathan, good morning.
And Tony, good morning to you. We've been here since day one and immediately began asking the question, why did the sirens not go off? Officials told us they could have saved lives and that all of this wind could have knocked them offline, but we now know the sirens were working, and it was one person's job to decide whether to activate them. He told me he knew that the fire was growing and still did not pull the alarm.
Now, see, I'm not going to get into the whole thing about the fire and this, that, and the other, because it was murder. Anybody who's seen some of the pictures of the devastation know that forest fires don't burn your shit down to a complete ash. All right? You need some napalm or some shit that, you know what I'm saying, I didn't talk to some of the ex-veterans about that's even hotter than that shit to cause that kind of fucking devastation from a fire. Because the minute I heard them talk about the fire, and then you hear people in different parts of the news segment saying, yeah, it seemed like an explosion or something, I started going to ex-veterans like, hey man, y'all hear the shit that these motherfuckers talking about? Seem like an explosion fire or something? It's like, you know, you seen some of them pictures, right? I'm hitting up Red Wolf and everybody like, y'all seen some of them pictures, right? That shit look like napalm or something, right? Don't napalm fuck your shit up like that? And them niggas clap back like, yeah, that and some other shit that the military got. It's like, oh, okay, I knew I wasn't fucking crazy. I grew up in a house with a fucking guy that saw Trigger Time in Vietnam. I knew I wasn't fucking crazy. He talked about napalm. He did, personally. The motherfucker I grew up in a house with. He talked about it. He know exactly what that shit blew like and the devastation. That's how come I know. Right? So we don't want to get into all that. What we want to get into is the bold ass shit about they just come flat out like, yeah, man, we didn't turn that shit on. Fuck the alarm. Fuck that shit. Like, can you say murder? God damn. There ain't no other way to fucking say it. Murder. Period.
It is these harrowing images out of Maui that illustrate the desperation among residents who got caught in what is now the deadliest wildfire in modern U.S. history.
Oh my gosh.
But as these flames swept in, those in Maui were left in the dark.
There was no siren, nothing.
It was fight or flight with no warning whatsoever. And it spread in the matter of minutes.
80 outdoor sirens on Hawaii's second largest island sat silent as people fled for their lives. And with mounting concerns of why none of them went off, we asked Herman Andaya, the head of Maui's emergency management agency, about his own qualifications. According to Maui Now, prior to taking the job, he had no background in disaster response.
Do you regret your decision, and have you considered handing over the reins to somebody with more experience?
To say that I'm not qualified, I think, is incorrect. I went through a very arduous process, and I was vetted, had to take a civil service exam. I was interviewed by seasoned emergency managers, and they all deemed me qualified. In fact, I was selected.
Andaya's defense of his actions are his first public comments since the wildfires broke out.
Do you regret not sounding the sirens?
I do not. And the reason why...
So many people said they could have been saved if they had time to escape. Had a siren gone off, they would have known that there was a crisis emerging. And as we know, so many bodies were found in the ground as the flames caught their heels.
Give me the answer.
The sirens, as I mentioned earlier, is used primarily for tsunamis. And that's the reason why many of them are found, almost all of them are found, on the coastline. The public is trained to seek higher ground in the event that the siren is sounded. Had we sounded the siren that night, we're afraid that people would have gone Mauka. And if that was the case, then they would have gone into the fire. By the way, I should also note that...
How in the fuck are you gonna go into the fire in the fucking dark? See? Man, oh my God. Ooh-wee. So you come out and you admit that you all purposely help aid and abet in murdering these people by not sounding this fucking alarm. And your reason is, if we had a did that, we were afraid they would have walked into the fire. Motherfucker, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. How in the fuck you gonna walk into a fire at 2 o'clock? Anyway, continue.
No sirens, Mauka, or on the mountainside, where the fire was spreading down. So even if we sounded the siren...
And nobody's gonna see that, right, dummy? In the middle of the fucking night, nobody's gonna see this goddamn fire shimmying down this goddamn mountain. They're not gonna see it, right? And they're just gonna walk right into it, right? Oh, wow.
It would not have saved those people on the mountainside, Mauka.
According to the state's own government website, those sirens can be used for a variety of natural and human-caused events, including wildfires.
And last week, the governor launched an investigation into the county's protocol, including why the sirens did not go off. We now know that answer, and this morning so many people want to know how many precious moments were lost because they had no warning, Gail.
I know, that's the thing. Very tough questions there, Jonathan.
Look at this big-ass drag man on screen right here with that fucking mop on her head, on his head, with these big-ass broad shoulders and that big-ass motherfucking dumbass Herman Monster head and shit this goofy motherfucker over here got. Fake-ass titties and shit. Big dumbass eyebrow ridge and shit. Get your goofy ass out of here and take that goddamn mop hat off your head. Like, man, this shit here got me, I'm just... Ooh-wee, man. Let me see. I want to try to see if I can find something else that I wanted to show to you all real quick. Oh, let me do this real quick.
Cryptocurrency markets get involved in the NFT.
I mean, she looks more like Shaquille
Let's fast forward to this. I exposed these motherfuckers a long time ago. All right, I used to do tranny videos a long time ago, man, and I remember when I exposed Michelle Obama and the motherfucker that's married to Donald Trump's wife and all that other shit. I exposed them in a video that didn't stay up 30 minutes on my original channel, right? But I gotta do this shit, man. Shout out to you, Alex Jones. I don't fuck with you. I really don't, right? But this shit here is hilarious. So shout out to you for this, Alex Jones, because despite the fact I don't fuck with you, you are 100% correct. Michelle Obama is a fucking man. Let's get it.
Neal than a black woman.
And fair use, by the way. Fair use, fair use. This video, that I'm about to show is for entertainment purposes only. Despite the fact that I do agree with Alex Jones on this, I'm still saying fair use. This video is for entertainment purposes.
By the way, this is a side issue. I've always thought Michelle Obama looked like something was wrong with her. They talk about how beautiful she is. She looks profanely scary and monstrous to me. And she always wears these weird fluffy things around her waist. And her shoulders are wide enough to put 3 men's heads on. And, of course, you know the classic thing of a male. You could have 3 heads on a male's shoulders and only another head on a woman's shoulder, or 1/2 of a head on each side. That's a well-known thing in anatomy. And I saw an online video that I made.
Now, mind you, he ain't lying about that, because it's also the jawline, the eyebrow ridge, the spot the belly button is in, the whole 9 yards. So he actually owns something. I'm only playing it because the shit is funny, really, to be truthfully honest, because I want to jump back on this Hawaii shit. But I gotta give Alex Jones a little bit of airtime. Despite I don't fuck with him, I gotta do this one. This one here, he not only did he knock this one out the park, but the ball is still floating in the air.
Air today, and we may look into this, talking about Michelle Obama looking like a man, and how they only release photos of her with her hands up, covering her shoulders, or her turned at an angle. And I started looking at it with Joan Rivers saying she's a transvestite. And I'd been hearing this for years, and I thought, come on. I know Obama was raised by a transvestite and the rest of it, and I'm not getting into bashing people. That's not.
And Jones Rivers is too. Don't no real woman face fall off like that just because they get older. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck what a person say. Your face just don't fall apart and shit because you 70 years old. But yeah.
My cup of tea. But I started to really last night look at videos of this and look at photos of her in the official White House photo. And she looks like an NBA center. I mean, she looks more.
Yep, that motherfucker look like Larry Johnson. Remember Grandmama? He used to play for Orlando or something, right? Y'all remember Larry Johnson? Straight up. Oh my God.
Shaquille O'Neal than a black woman. And knowing all the weirdness and that we don't even know who Obama really is and his social security numbers don't e-verify. And then his dad clearly, we saw the documentary, Dreams of My Real Father. And I mean, it's him with the famous pornographer who lived in Hawaii, who his grandfather was best buddies with, and who Obama would stay the summers with. A famous communist pornographer. And you look at the guy, it's Obama's dad. So the whole Kenya thing with her saying, my husband's from Kenya, we visited his place of birth in multiple videos in 2006 and 7. His Harvard review, where he was the head of the Harvard Law Review, and he said, I was born in Kenya in his bio. And in his bio for shopping book deals when he was a senator, state senator, said, I was born in Kenya. And we took that bait, hook, line, and sinker, folks. That, oh, my God, they're covering up the records. Oh, he's from Kenya. But his dad looks nothing like him. And then you see Frank Marshall Davis. I mean, it's his daddy. And then his grandfather's best buddies with him in the CIA. And then you go, oh, my gosh. And then imagine the joke. See, it's all about a joke on us. That he's got cutout daughters, look nothing like him, and a cutout wife. And I began to look at his daughters last night and look at his wife. She's has that double chromosomal disorder where women are really men. And it's turned out a lot of the Olympic runners and a lot of the top tennis players and things really are not even really females. They're not hermaphrodites. Some of them are hermaphrodites, or both. A lot of them have this double.
See, that's some of that shit that Jim Red Wolf be talking about on his channel. For anybody who on my channel that ain't subscribed to James Lucifer Branch Red Wolf, what other fucking title he got, if y'all ain't subscribed to him, go over there and subscribe to my boy channel, man, because he talk about this. That gene splicing and all that other bullshit. I was laughing at him one time because he know about the island of the Dr. Moreau and shit. And the fucking new version they did with Marlon Brando, which was the last movie he made before he died, but they also did like a 70s version of that same movie, talking about gene splicing and all that shit. Like, this shit is real. This shit is real. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers like Mag Bitter Truth and did videos talking about Shaquille O'Neal as like a test tube baby and shit. Like LeBron James and shit is a test tube baby. Like this shit is out here. This information is out here and it's real. Now again, like I said, this for educational purposes. People don't have to believe me. Like I said, I really don't fuck with Alex Jones, but this shit is true. The stuff he talking about in this shit is true.
Chromosome. Men can have it too. And the Olympics are looking at...
And that's bullshit. God don't create nothing like that. Either you created it yourself or you laid down with a dog or a motherfucking porcupine or something. You dig? But all that shit don't exist unless man start tampering with some shit. It's just that simple.
Trying to ban this in men and women because men are like supermen. They're like cavemen. And then the women are like men when they have this chromosomal disorder. Was the double X, double Y. In fact, print me some literature on that. I'm going from memory. But I've always looked at her jaw, her shoulders, her pelvis. All of it looks male. She has that male Superman physique.
Now, another thing I want to put y'all up on game. I forgot the name of the cemetery, but it's a cemetery that's in Hollywood where they bury all of the stars. Where they bury all the stars. That cemetery has 24/7, 365, all around the time of the day and night, armed guards. Now, if anybody know of any other cemetery that has that type of security, let me know. Because the fucking cemetery out in Arlington, Virginia or whatever, where they supposed to bury a lot of the motherfuckers from World War II and all that, if I'm not mistaken, they don't even have that type of fucking security. Straight up. And these are military motherfuckers they buried over in there. And they don't have that type of goddamn security. But look it up, y'all. Look it up. Do some research. Google it. I can't think of the name of the cemetery. But it's a cemetery that's in Hollywood. That's where they bury all the stars when they die. And that shit got around the clock guards 24/7, 365. And when I first ran into the video that the brother put out, and this was on Facebook some years ago, he brought up the fact that it's because everybody that is in Hollywood that you see on TV, they not the right gender. The gender they profess to be, they really the opposite gender. And one way that you can define or tell the sex of a corpse is through like the pelvis and like the head, the skull and shit. Those two things give away what gender that corpse was. And that's the reason for why they got guards, because they don't want nobody spending a nice long weekend and shit. You know what I'm saying? A nice little Thanksgiving vacation or a little nice Christmas vacation where there ain't gonna be nobody in the fucking cemetery. They don't want people digging up them fucking graves and discovering that motherfuckers like Angela Bassett is really a fucking man. But anyway, continue.
And it just clicked. You know what? I bet she is not who she says she is. I mean, my gut just really registered with that. What do you think about that? There is chromosome abnormality. Chromosome anomaly, abnormality, aberration, or mutation is a missing, extra, or irregular portion of chromosomal DNA. It can be...
Now, they talk about aberrations in that show, Wayward Pines. I keep telling y'all to go watch that fucking show. They talk about aberrations in that movie. I mean, that show, excuse me, because it's a TV show. 10 episodes per season, and it's only 2 seasons. They talk about aberrations and shit. Straight up, like the shit that these people are on today is wicked. This is beyond Frankenstein shit. Like, they are way, way past Frankenstein. Straight up.
A atypical number of chromosomes or a structural abnormality in one of the chromosomes. Chromosome mutation has formerly used in a strict sense to mean a change in a chromosomal segment involving more than one gene. Yeah, but find the one, guys, that's hyper male or hyper female. It's super male, super female. Because I remember seeing documentaries about it and reading books about it in biology, reading about it. But it's a big issue in the Olympics. They talk about it on ESPN, where they go and they do blood tests on, you know, female runners and folks that don't look like women. And, hey, it turns out they don't have a penis, excuse my French, but that's the word. That's the medical word for it. But they do have male genetics. They're men. They're men. And
yeah, because they've been nipped and tucked. What you think the show is about? What y'all think that show Nipped and Tucked was about? But continue.
Remember the Russians couldn't lose in the 60s and 70s and 80s, and the women weightlifting didn't really look like women, and they would test them, and you know, they didn't have steroids in them, but they looked like men. Well, they were men. Now, continuing here, ladies and gentlemen, let's open the phones up about that. I mean, they lie about everything else. They said there were no death panels in Obamacare, and now they admit, yes, there are death panels, and yes, we have them for the veterans. We have them on list where they don't get treatment, and we just let them die, and then we take the workers from there and use them to take care of the illegal aliens.
Now, you heard that, right? Jim Red will talk on his channel all the time about the way veterans get treated. Jim Redwood is an ex-veteran. Straight up. He talked about, I think he had mentioned a couple of times about they had him on some medication that he was only supposed to took, you know, for a very small period amount of time, and he ended up on this shit for years. They kept prescribing it to him. Prescribing it to him. He talk about that shit all the time. All the time. Straight up. And I appreciate that too, you know what I'm saying? Because I've also ran into a lot of veterans and ex-veterans who just couldn't see the fucking light. They couldn't see the forest for the trees about the organization that they were a part of. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I've ran into people like Red and several other brothers throughout my life that just told that, you know, about the military, like how it was. Like they just put it out there. And like I said, I first experienced that with growing up in a house with a dude in Vietnam. That's when I'm talking, I was a child, man. I was a baby. You know what I'm saying? That's when I first experienced that. And he was somebody that just told it like it was. And when I got, you know, my mother ended up breaking up with him, you know, like a decade plus later. But I ended up moving in with him a decade and a half later after that. And at this point, I'm a grown man. And we used to sit down and have these conversations. And, you know, he was the one who taught me about what trees would do to you if they throw your ass out of a helicopter. And it's crazy because we would be sitting in the living room, you know what I'm saying, just me and him, and nobody stayed there. It was his crib, you know what I'm saying, nobody lived there but me and him. And we'd be sitting there talking, he'd be like, yeah, man, we'd catch one of them motherfuckers, an officer. And he's like, you know, it wouldn't be no regular motherfucker. It'd be like a Vietnamese officer or something. And he's like, we'd chuck their ass out over the motherfucking tree lines and shit as they flying back to wherever they going in the helicopter. And he say, we'd be betting on the way down where his arms and legs and shit is gonna land when his body started hitting the trees and shit. And he would be sitting there talking about it like it wasn't a big fucking deal. So, you know, quite naturally, somebody like me, I'm sitting over here looking at this motherfucker like he had 2 rounds. They were dead rounds. They had took all of the powder out of them, but he had a fucking round from a grenade launcher. It just didn't have no powder in it. He also had an empty shell 50 caliber joint with no powder in it. And this listen, we be sitting there, man. The table right in front of us, and he always had it. He even had them when I was a child. You know what I'm saying? He had little souvenirs and shit on the table, and he'd be talking about that. Talk about his fucking arms go over there, his legs snap off and go over there, and it's like I'm sitting there listening to him like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking serious? Then mind you, he was an alcoholic, right? He's the type of person where if he wasn't drinking, you wouldn't know he was in the house. If he drunk, he want to party and play his records and, you know what I'm saying, one of them type motherfuckers. But other than that, if he wasn't drinking, you wouldn't know he was in the crib. You wouldn't know he's there. And, you know, like I said, he was an alcoholic. That's what killed him in the end. You know, he went through some other shit with his son that fucked him up, that just added to his Vietnam stress. And, you know, when brothers came back, they couldn't find jobs. He used to get very emotional, talking about them calling them baby killers and shit, coming back through O'Hare Airport with his uniform on and all of that. And he broke down to me child sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? He's one of the first people that broke that down to me. He explained to me why they were killing children because he admitted it. Like, I'm telling you, this shit y'all hear me talk about right now. This is what got me into breaking my neck to talk to veterans or ex-veterans or whatever, because I wanted to learn what the fuck, you know what I'm saying? And this is what kept me from going in the military. talking to ex-veterans and shit, and the bullshit they went through. And due to the fact that I was born in 77, I dealt with more ex-Vietnam vets than any other veterans just because, you know, I'm 46 years old. You know what I'm saying? So I've talked to a lot of these brothers. And I've, you know, and you know, so getting back to my mother boyfriend, you know, he talked about how the Vietnamese would send a child with bombs, explosives and shit to strap to him. And, you know, you got some fucking soldier go run over and, you know, oh, little child, come on over here, baby. Come on, what's going on? The next thing you know, boom. This fucking child done exploded and killed like 5-6 American soldiers and shit. He say that went on for a minute until they start killing them. And listening to him talk about how they yelled and screamed at him and spat at him and shit when he was coming through O'Hare Airport with his uniform on, coming back from over there, he got emotional. They yelling baby killer and all this other shit. And he like, they don't know what the fuck, man. Like, he literally was like, bro, they don't even know what the fuck we went through. And he would be doing that in an emotional state. Like he was sitting there more calm talking about how they would chuck a Vietnamese officer, not just any soldier, but an officer. He would be more cool, calm, and collected sitting there talking about how his fucking leg popped off and shit as he falling down through them trees than he was when he was talking to me about how they called them baby killers and shit coming through the airport. He got choked up over that shit. You know, and he's like, you know, we wasn't over there to kill no motherfucking kids. That wasn't why we were there. But it's like if you strap explosive to your children and we run into them and we think, you know, they need some help and then they detonate this fucking bomb or the shit go off or however it work, you know what I'm saying? How long you think a fucking army is going to allow some shit like that before they retaliate or defend themselves against something like that? And it's like just listening to him talk about that, hearing him wail in his sleep. That's how come I know he did it. That's how come I know he wasn't lying. That's how come I know he killed probably more fucking people than he could count. That's how come I know from listening to him wail in his sleep. Oh, man, y'all just don't know, man. I mean, I know some of the veterans and, you know, the ex-veterans, I know y'all get it. But, you know, a lot of people, they just don't get it, man. They just don't get it. So what Alex Jones is talking about how they was denying these veterans and ex-veterans treatment and shit and just let them die, this is real, man. This is real shit.
And Obama's lied about everything else. I mean, what is true? How do you pronounce that? The Klinefelter syndrome? The XXY? The syndrome is a set of symptoms resulting from an additional X genetic material in males, also known as 47XXY or XXY. The syndrome is a genetic disorder in which there is at least one extra X chromosome to a strand of human male genetics for a total of 47. Yeah, that's the one in males. Control F female. I want the one on female. The point is we're going to be investigating this and looking into it because she looks like the women I've seen before on television that have this. So it may just be that she has a genetic disorder and that's why her shoulders are wider than mine. I have extremely wide shoulders. I have a huge head, but still you could put...
And that's true. Straight up. So anything with me, you got to understand, I'm 6'1", I weigh like 205, 210. You know what I'm saying? You could put one head each on both sides of my shoulders. And you ain't supposed to be able to do that with no female. That's true. It's 100%. That shit is true. I'm sorry.
2 of my heads on my shoulders. You could put 3 heads. The average male is supposed to be able to have 3 heads across their shoulders. A female is supposed to have 2 heads, or 1 head in the middle, and you could put a half head on each side. And you look at Michelle Obama in straight-on photos. They're very rare. In fact, I've seen her on television, and when the camera turns on, she'll stand turning to the side. She wears fluffy deals around her waist. But when she's not wearing that, when you see her in a bathing suit, man, it looks like a man. And there are the photos of she's either keeping a banana in her pants. I mean, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, or she's a man. And I mean, I'm sorry, we just have to talk about this. And I heard this 8 years ago that he's married to a transvestite. And now Joan Rivers has said it, and she says, oh, it's a compliment, because, being a male or female who's hetero, that's bad, basically. You need...
Joan Rivers is a man. That's why the motherfucker said that. That's why they said it. And then also, too, anybody that's been down with me since my first channel, y'all already know I talk about the Masonic bullshit, which I haven't, for some reason, I just haven't done a lot of those videos either on this channel. But as I've explained to you guys in the past, the evil, high-ranking, super powerful ass Freemasons, they have this thing where they have to tell you what they're doing or what they've done or what they're gonna do. Some kind of way they gotta put it out there and tell you. Because in their thing, they feel like if you don't respond or you don't do nothing to stop them or you don't stand up, basically if you acquiesce, right? If you do that, then they feel like they have clean hands. And they're not responsible for the fucking savagery that they bring upon you. Now, I don't agree with that shit, but I'm just expressing to you their thing. Just like this fucking stupid shit about order out of chaos, where the same fucking people that cause the chaos is the ones that come in with the order, like the fucking Maui fire. I don't agree with this shit. I'm just expressing to you guys that this is their thing.
Be something else. And look, I'm not attacking anybody. Certainly this agenda is being pushed. And then Obama admits that he was raised in Indonesia by a transvestite nanny. So and his dad's this famous pornographer and just all this. I mean, regardless, he stayed summers with a famous communist publisher and pornographer. I mean, his grandfather hung out with him and played golf and would, quote, leave Obama there for the summer. I mean, if it isn't his dad, sure looks like him. There it is. Joan Rivers storms out of negative CNN interviews days after calling Michelle Obama a tranny. So, again, all I'm saying is we need her to publicly give a blood test, and you only need a drop of blood to do a DNA check, and she can send it out to a bunch of private labs and put all this to bed right now. And if her identity is a woman, I respect that. Seriously, I respect the Wachowski brother becoming a woman. We respect Michael. Because Obama has called her Michael, introducing her repeatedly. So, I mean, if Michael wants to become Michelle, or Bradley Manning wants to become Candy, or what is it? What's the name?
Chelsea.
I respect that. I'm serious. Again, folks, I'm joking around a little bit about Michelle Obama, but the more...
General to...
Okay, guys. So, enough of that. I just thought that shit was pretty funny. And I should have waited to show y'all who he compared that motherfucker to with the Legion of Doom. I should have showed y'all that because that was pretty funny. But y'all go back and watch the rest of the video on y'all own. All right, so let's jump back to this Maui shit, right? And the reason why I'm bouncing around the way that I am is because y'all already know. Anybody who watched my channel should already know that the fire in Hawaii was pure fuckery. Pure fuckery. Everybody should know this that follow me, right? So this is the reason why I'm bouncing around the way I'm doing. I'm not trying to go into the details about how it was fuckery, because y'all should already know that. Now, if y'all need me to start back breaking down these fucking psyops and doing like tranny videos and all that, then let me know. And I'll start back making some. But what's understood shouldn't be explained. So now what I want y'all to do now is check this fucking bullshit out right here, man. Like, you can't make this shit up. I'm sorry. This is a fucking clip about these motherfucking companies and land developers are already coming in trying to buy the fucking land, man. It's like, wait a minute. Y'all ain't even cleared the land off. They still talking about it's 1,000 fucking people missing. And y'all, that's unaccounted for. Y'all can't find these motherfuckers. And already y'all coming in with bulldozers and it's like, yeah, we'll give you $50 million for the crib, for the lot or whatever. It's like, you can't make this shit up, man. Listen to this dumb shit.
Of housing, Maui fire victims are taking to social media, calling out investors and real estate agencies who are offering to buy their land just days after wildfires burn down their homes. Fox 26 News reporter Sophia Lesios is here now to explain why Hawaiians are furious with companies who they say are preying on them following the tragedy. Sophia?
Liz, many Hawaiian natives are advocating online and encouraging homeowners to not sell their properties to companies. And instead, they're telling people to gather as much information as they can to shame blast real estate agents on social media.
Please don't leave. We're gonna figure this out.
Many Hawaiian natives, including T.
Please try not to pay no attention to that other goofy, because they're going to be interviewing her and she's going to be doing the fake crying. And, you know, you got to chew up the meat and spit out the bones in regards to some of this. Don't take everything in here literal, especially this chick they finna interview that's acting like she crying. You know what I'm saying? But just peep the fucking narrative is what I'm playing this for.
Lawrence have been advocating for Maui natives since the beginning of the devastating wildfires. She's furious with companies who are now reaching out, offering to buy native land.
How dare you do that to our community right now?
Lawrence says she's heard from multiple families who were contacted by agents in the last week.
Shame on you. Shame on you. If you are a Maui realtor contributing to that, karma's gonna come and get you.
Hawaii's history isn't that pretty with the United States. According to the National Park Service, in the late 18th century, the islands of Hawaii were converted to Christianity, and missionaries eventually dominated the financial and business aspects of the Hawaiian community, leading to an almost complete cultural transformation.
No, they came in there and they slaughtered our people back in the 18th century. All right? Let's get that part clear. That's what I was saying about chew up the meat and spit out the bones. Let's get that part clear. Hawaii is our land, just like California and Mexico and all the rest of that shit. It's all our shit. All right? Hawaii is no different. What they did was came in there in the 18th century, killed our fucking people, replaced them with these motherfuckers, and then generations later, they killed them too. Period. That's what the fuck happened. This is the shit that ain't nobody paying no fucking attention to. Everybody talking about they fucking job and taxes and fucking Donald Trump's RICO charge and all this other fuck shit. But ain't nobody talking about this. Nobody. That's the reason why I told y'all I'm not getting on here making 5, 6, 7, 8 videos a day. Every day. I'm not getting on here every day making a video. I ain't getting on this motherfucker sometimes every week and making a video. Fuck that. Because if people don't want to get off their motherfucking ass, I won't waste all my energy on you. Fuck that shit.
Now it's worrying natives this might happen again.
You guys gotta stay, especially you multi-generational families. Don't move away. We've already been displaced.
Ain't that a bitch? You could tell in this punk's voice, right? Because don't look like no motherfucker. Put it like this here. This motherfucker look funny. The motherfucker look suspect. But what I can tell you is the voice and everything give a motherfucker away. Your acting and your acting skills is terrible. And that fucking piece of shit weave you got on your head is just like they had to just put that on before they said, okay, the camera is rolling, bitch. Speak. They had to just put that on your head because it looked like it's just stuck up on there and it's looped across your shoulder. That fucking piece of shit ass weave. That shit. Who in the fuck put that weave in this motherfucker's head? That raggedy ass shit. The fuck out of here. I could have did better than that. I don't know a goddamn thing about no weave.
So much. Do not let this push you away to moving away. Like, we're gonna move back home and we're gonna rebuild.
Fuck out of here.
Hawaii Governor Josh.
The motherfucking people that got displaced and pushed out of New Orleans during Katrina, they still ain't back there. So you get the fuck out of here with that bullshit.
Green addressed this particular issue in a news conference Monday, stating he already reached out to the Attorney General to explore options for a moratorium on sales of properties that have been damaged or destroyed.
I would caution people that it's going to be a very long time before any growth or housing can be built. And so you will be pretty poorly informed if you try to steal land from our people and then build here.
Lawrence has created an Instagram page.
That is fucking bullshit. They can claim eminent domain, which I've heard that they've done that in the past and it wasn't working because these people are supposed to have been fighting to hold on to the land. But there are certain laws that change everything when they when they deem something to be a disaster area, there's certain laws that kick in behind that where they can literally say, okay, well, shut this shit down and take over. Literally take over. But ain't nobody gonna talk about that. I bet you ain't gonna hear that shit in this goddamn segment.
People to donate directly to families impacted by the fires.
I know it's hard and like it may feel a lot easier to just want to move to the continent, but we cannot keep displacing our people. We need to make sure you guys can go back home.
According to the Office of Hawaii Governor's...
That is fucking disgusting. Oh my God. Here it is. On one hand, you got the motherfucker coming in like, yeah, we ain't signed the siren and shit. Yeah, we should have turned the siren on, but we didn't. We figured these niggas would walk into a fire at 2 o'clock in the morning if we turned the siren on, so we didn't want to alarm them to the fact that the whole motherfucking island was finna be burnt to fucking dust. So you got them admitting that on one hand, and then on the other hand, right after that, you talking about big-ass marketing developers that came in and offered the surviving people and the people's families of the motherfuckers that have died, they coming in already trying to buy their shit. Damn! You know why they so bold? Because the rest of the fucking world is pussies. Woo! It almost make you want to laugh, man, like on some Dr. Evil type shit. It almost make you want to laugh because they are that bold. Like, goddamn, how much bolder could they be? That's like a motherfucker, that's like them walking up to one of them people on that island that actually escaped the fire and said, yeah, we know your fucking shit burnt to the ground, but we don't give a fuck. Poof, right in their fucking face. That's what that's like. Like, you can't make this shit up. You cannot make this shit up. This is fucking ridiculous. I'm gonna play one more, man, because I thought this was rather interesting too. Check this shit out.
The search for answers is on after an explosion outside Pittsburgh over the weekend that killed 5 people and left 1 in critical condition. As the victims are identified, including this father and son, questions are being asked about the abandoned mine underneath the home that blew up. Here's Stephen Fabian.
It's the terrifying moment a house explodes, raining debris on the entire neighborhood. You can see the flying wreckage hitting this house down the block and the screams of the terrified people inside. The devastating blast could be heard across town at a ball field 2 miles away.
What the hell was that?
And this is the chilling aftermath. A landscape of burned out cars and homes reduced to charred matchwood. 3 houses were destroyed. 11 more may have to be demolished. It happened.
That also too show you that them fucking houses ain't made out of shit. And I can't even say that it's because they put them up so fast, right? Because it don't take that long to build a house. It really don't. And I'm talking about from the ground up, laying the foundation in the whole fucking 9 yards. It don't take that long to build a house. So you can't really argue that, oh, they put the house up so fucking fast and blah, blah, blah. You can't really argue that. It's the fucking material that they're using. They're using some of the cheapest motherfuckers. It's the oldest trick in the book. You make the shit as cheap as you possibly fucking can, and you sell it for as fucking high as you can. It's the oldest trick in the book. The average motherfucker, 95% of new houses that are built today ain't worth 10% of what they charge. 10%. So in other words, if you got a house that costs $250,000, it's worth less than 10% of that. You may be looking at fucking $18,000 is what that fucking house is really worth, based off the fucking materials that they using to build them. He said that motherfucker blew up and burned down the matchwood. Damn. Like, what the fuck?
Plum, Pennsylvania, about 20 miles outside of Pittsburgh, and that also happens to be my hometown. Sadly, 2 of those killed in the blast were friends of our family. They are Casey Clance, 38, and his 12-year-old son.
Yeah, with the 32 on the jerseys and shit. But anyway, we're not going to get into the numerology and all this other fuck shit, Masonic shit. We're not going to get into all that. Just let it roll.
Keegan, who were found dead in the wreckage of the house next door. Grieving relatives issued this statement. Their smiles and laughter filled their families' and friends' hearts with joy that can never be replaced. Firefighters heard bullets exploding in the burning wreckage. A survivor reportedly told them there was ammunition stored in the house that exploded. The cause of the blast is still a mystery, but many of the houses are built over an abandoned mine. There are also active natural gas wells about 300 yards away.
Was this just isolated to this one home? And why did it build up to such a degree that it was an explosion of that level? Again, these are things that the investigators will determine. This was a very, very intense catastrophe.
Not knowing if other homes are also at risk is unnerving for the whole neighborhood.
People lost their lives, and we don't have answers. We need answers for these families. We need answers for this community.
That shit leveled 3 homes. The house that actually blew up, the house that was to the left, and the house that was to the right is completely gone. Gone. Like, wow. Look, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. Just so you guys know, none of this shit is coincidental. All right? And it's not biblical either. It's them. It's them that's doing it. This ain't no fucking Jesus and all this other stupid shit. It's these goofy motherfuckers, man, that are in control right now that are doing this. This shit, the same descendants of the motherfuckers who wrote that bullshit book they called the Bible, the descendants of them fucking people are the ones that are in control today. They still in power. It's them that's doing this stupid shit. Fuck, you blow up a house like that, man. Not only that, there's nothing left. Nothing left, man. There's no fucking way in hell. Them cheap ass fucking houses. That's suburbia for you. Everybody going to run and move to the fucking suburbs. And, oh, I got to get out the city. And you move your ass out there into one of them cheap ass single family homes and a fucking explosion take out 3 homes at the same. Then take them out, destroy them. All 3 homes from one explosion. That's To be aware is to be alive, people. Keep y'all head on the swivel. This is the best advice I can give to y'all, man. I got to make sure I watch my back and I do the things that I need to do for myself to make sure I'm straight. And I just hope like hell the rest of you guys are out here doing the same thing. Because like how I said, I need my energy. And that's why I ain't making no 3-4 videos a day. I'll spend that energy with like-minded people. But outside of that, I'm not finna be on here making no 10, 15, 20 videos a day and all this other crazy shit. Motherfuckers gonna have to get their weight up, man. Straight up. Get y'all weight up because this shit is crazy. And there's nothing coincidental about it. This is not some sort of fucking global warming and all that shit they tried to blame on with Hawaii. Oh, you know, it was a hurricane wind. You know, there was a hurricane. There was a hurricane and you got hurricane winds, but there was no fucking water. Where the rain at? Here it is. They supposed to have hurricanes and typhoons and all kind of shit in Hawaii. That's supposed to be normal. You talking about hurricane and hurricane wind, but there was no fucking water? Where the rain? Where was the fucking rain at? If you're talking about a hurricane, where the fuck was the rain? Where was the flooding? How in the fuck did an entire island burn to the fucking ashes? Ashes to fucking powdery ash, man. How the fuck did that happen, man? Because there wasn't no goddamn hurricane and there wasn't no goddamn winds. And there wasn't no fucking forest fire. Didn't nobody flick a cigarette butt in the weeds or in the grass and burnt the whole fucking island to a powdery dust. There's no way in hell that happened. Hopefully, man, hopefully more people wake up. Hopefully this type of disgusting ass shit will help people understand that you cannot just keep ignoring this. So Richard Longwood, man, I'm going to get up out of here. Much love to y'all, man. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day. Enjoy your weekend and all this other shit. I'm out of here, man. To be aware is to be alive. And this is the best advice I got for y'all. I'm gone.